So in the next half hour, we're going to tell you a little bit about how Straw Dog started and what we are up to with Giving Tuesday. Ellie Meeropol will talk about the Able Meeropol Social Justice Writing Award and a few other things. Chris O'Carroll will do the impossible 10 years of Straw Dog accomplishments in 2 minutes. And Patricia Lee Lewis will talk about our amazing writing residencies awarded to 43 Straw Dog writers. At any time, this is where I'm going to sound like Jerry Lewis telethon. At any time, you can go to our webpage, strawdogwriters.org, and click on the big button that says donate and make a donation and help us reach our goal of $20,000. Or if you prefer, and I know some of you prefer this method, you can send a check to Straw Dog Writers Guild, 43 Fairview Avenue, Northampton. And that address is right on the very bottom of the webpage. So almost 11 years ago now, a group of us decided that if we could pull together the collective might of writers in Western Mass, that we could support each other and we could become a clearinghouse for services for writers. We met in Patricia's living room at Patchwork Farm. And at first, we thought we could model ourselves after Grub Street in Boston. But we're not Boston. We're Western Mass, and we needed an umbrella organization that fit us. Our inaugural event, just to test out our theory, was a salon with Jane Yolen and Corinne Demas called Writing Despite Life's Interruptions. And we picked that because those two writers in particular had huge tragedies that they had to deal with and keep writing. We held it at APE on Main Street in Northampton on a freezing cold day, a Sunday afternoon in January. We desperately hoped a few hardy souls would show up. After 90 people crammed into the space, we had to close the doors and turn people away. We were right. Western Mass was ready and waiting for a Writers Guild. In 2012, we started Writers Night Out, a way for writers to come together once a month and read our work and cheer each other on. And this is one of the most enduring programs. We grew and grew with ideas and craft programs, outreach, until finally we needed to hire a paid employee. 4 years ago, we had the great good fortune to hire Laura Stone, our executive director. So why are we raising money tonight? Well, we believe and we are committed to the belief that writers should be paid because our work is valuable. Writers are so often asked to volunteer their services as a writer. We can't pay writers very much, but when we ask writers to be a featured reader or to develop and run a program, a workshop, we pay them. We offer scholarships to high school seniors. We award writing residencies, and we pay our executive director to manage all of this. So right now, through Giving Tuesday, we have already raised, as of 6 o'clock, Becky Jones just gave me the word, we have crossed over $15,000, which is just, I am just totally blown away by this. I feel like I did when those first 90 people crammed into the room for our first event. So thank you so much. And I know everybody is asking for donations for Giving Tuesday. So I appreciate you being here for choosing us tonight. I thank you so much. At the end of the half hour, I will give you, Becky's going to give us our next update and how much money we've taken in. So I want to introduce Ellie Meeropol. Ellie is one of the founders of Straw Dog Writers Guild. She is an author and activist. Ellie also had the weird fortune of publishing her book during a pandemic, during a global pandemic. Sort of a weird notch on her belt. So welcome, Ellie.
Thank you, Jacqueline. You know, that day when Patricia gathered a few writers in her living room at Patchwork Farm 11 years ago almost, to imagine what a writer's network in Western Mass would look like, one of the ideas that fired me up was the idea of political salons. I imagined a place for writers to meet and share our dreams about how we wanted our work to interact with the world. I wanted a place where writers could engage and try to understand what it means to write poems or stories or essays or memoir in the chaotic, polarized, frightening world in which we find ourselves living. I wanted a community to think about the huge and growing inequalities and how writing can be part of the solution to the needs and injustices faced by so many people around the globe. So the Straw Dog Social Justice Writing Program grew out of that idea. In 2017, we established the Abel Meeropol Social Justice Writing Award, funded by royalties from my father-in-law, Abel Meeropol's anti-lynching song, Strange Fruit. The recipient was slam poet Patricia Smith, who delivered an amazing, inspiring, powerful reading and author talk at the ceremony. In 2018, the Social Justice Writing Committee became a standing committee of Straw Dogs. We established the annual Voices for Resistance reading event, co-sponsored with Forbes Library. And we partnered with Nicole Young to develop the Emerging Writer Fellowship to be awarded every 2 years to a writer of color early in their career. In 2019, the committee expanded the work to provide support for Valley Society, a new organization of Black writers in our region. In 2020, the first Emerging Writer Fellowship was awarded to poet Amina Jordan Mendez. Currently, Straw Dog plans are underway for a spring 2021 Voices for Resistance reading, again to be co-sponsored with the Forbes, and most likely, unfortunately, online. And we're beginning to work on the 2022 Emerging Writer Fellowship, tentatively to be awarded to a fiction writer of color. You know, one of the things I appreciate about writing is the way it both encourages us to look deeply inside ourselves at our memories and experiences and imagination and yearnings, and to look widely outside ourselves at the living beings with whom we share this planet. The mission of the Straw Dog Social Justice Project is imagining a more just world and incorporating that imagination into our writing. It's profoundly hopeful work, work that can connect us in many ways. And there's room for all of us in these conversations. I hope you'll all join us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Ellie. It's a pleasure working with you. I would like to introduce Chris O'Carroll. So sometime during the whole COVID experience, I saw a great YouTube of Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And she listed her accomplishments after being in office for 2 years. Her staff challenged her to see if she could do it in 4 minutes. I challenged Chris O'Carroll to try and list all of our accomplishments, 10 years worth, in a 2-minute video. And here he is tonight for an encore performance. Our own poet and performer, frequently found at Writers' Night Out, Chris O'Carroll.
My friends, is this even possible? 10 years of Straw Dog Writers Guild accomplishments in 2 minutes or less? Piece of cake. We've established the Emerging Writers Fellowship Program, writing residencies at Patchwork Farm, and the Able Meeropol Social Justice Writing Award, first recipient, poet Patricia Smith. Yay! We've published the Straw Dog Poetry Anthology in print and the online anthology Pandemic Poetry and Prose. We've awarded 3 college scholarships to area high school seniors and provided internships for Smith College and Westfield State College students. We've hosted more than 100 Writers Read and Writers Night Out readings at venues from library to dive bar. We've celebrated Halloween with the Dead Writers Dance. And we hired our very first administrative director, Laura Stone, who, as we all know, did an awesome job in that role. Now, check out some of the writing workshops we have sponsored over the past decade. This is like the coolest continuing ed catalog imaginable. Telling Tall Tales, the 12 best kept secrets about the writing of the short story. In It for the Long Haul, writing the novel. How I learned to write a play. Screenwriting basics. Ins and outs of writing for children. Poetic craft, form, and emotion. Grammar for dummies and or writers. Read it again! The Art of Writing picture books. Songwriting 101, the translator's craft and literary innovation, the joys and despairs of writing young adult literature, creating memorable characters, moving through grief, poems, songs, and after, balancing solitude and community in a writer's life, writing fantasy, MFA, or NOT, getting published locally, writing dialogue, the easy way to write 30 poems in 30 days for fun and your favorite nonprofit. What happens when your character calls 911? Good storytelling in nonfiction, mastering beginnings and endings in your writing. Did I say endings? But this list goes on and on and on and on.
Thank you so much, Chris O'Carroll. And I hope Chris sticks around for Writers' Night Out as well. Next, I would like to introduce Patricia. Patricia, also one of the founders of Straw Dog Writers Guild. Patricia Lee Lewis, this is going to be the shortest introduction you'll ever hear about Patricia Lee Lewis, by the way. For everybody who's on Zoom tonight, you know Patricia, but she is a writer. She is a published poet. She is a workshop leader here and internationally. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you, Jacqueline and Ellie and Chris. Good heavens, to take 10 years of work and put it into 2 minutes and make us laugh is truly wonderful. And you know, it's from the very beginning, creativity like that and ingenuity and generosity have been part of what created Straw Dog Writers Guild. You reminded me of that aspect of our work, the personal and communal levels of creativity and good humor. They've been a hallmark, I think. 3 years ago, it was through the inspired generosity of a writer, a member of Straw Dog, a writer in our region, who asked to remain anonymous for this, for the whole time, that over a 2-year period, as Jacqueline mentioned, 43 members of Straw Dog Writers Guild were awarded residencies for their writing at Patchwork Farm Retreat. Now that was a very special thing. I've lived at Patchwork, or did live at Patchwork, for 43 years, and I know what kind of a special place it is. 100 acres on top of a little mountain near Northampton with a view that makes a poet out of you. no matter what you're writing. And besides the main cottage with its eagle's nest and its owl's burrow, writers in residence stayed in the Eyrie, the Screen Pavilion, in the Hermit's Hut, and in the Elves Inn, which is in the middle of a grove of oak trees. They wandered 5 miles of trail and sat at the pond with its little angel sculpture, became acquainted with great views, with great trees, with granite rocks, beautiful places to rest and wonder, and private spots for reading and writing. To be able to provide residencies for writers at every level of experience, to give the space and privacy that all writers need and that are hard to come by sometimes, to support their commitment to their own work. It was a great honor. And to hear from so many of them, from some of you watching this, about what it meant to your writing, to your lives, to your identity as writers was just wonderful. I believe the residencies were one of the finest opportunities Straw Dog has ever offered our writers. You may know that at the end of this past summer, I passed Patchwork Farm along to other stewards, and the residencies won't continue there. It's my hope that when the state of semi-quarantine, if you're lucky, just semi, when that passes, Straw Dog will find the backing to resume the residencies in another magical place. I have a feeling we might be able to do that. Your donations tonight, I just want to underscore what Jacqueline said. Tonight and forward will serve to keep Straw Dog Writers Guild strong so that we, all of us, can continue to find ways like the residencies, like the workshops on craft, like the project that produced the remarkable outpouring of poetry and prose from the pandemic this past spring and summer, like networking, which is so vital to us as writers and human beings. And how about these open mic events? Over 100 of them. You know, Jacqueline, that was her idea. I remember it. Was that sparkle in her eye, which is the way things can happen at Straw Dog Writers Guild. You get an idea and you find a way of expressing it to people, and you talk with one another and you get support and you go forward. That's the wonderful thing about a volunteer organization, where we're in it to meet our needs and the needs of other people who are kind of in the same boat as we are. So I just want to say that with your help, Straw Dog can continue to find these ways to support and encourage all of us in this remarkable community of writers. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. And I know so many of the writers who had the great good fortune to be selected for a writing residency at Patchwork Farm. And while they were genuinely appreciative, many of them said, okay, I'm going to accept the fact that I'm a writer now. I'm a writer. And it meant so much to people. So we are coming very close to the end of our time here, but this is where I sound like Jerry Lewis again. Becky just let me know the very latest total in like the past 25 minutes. We are at $19,923. I know. Yes. This is blowing my mind. I want to thank everybody so much for supporting Straw Dog Writers. And believe me, it is a pleasure to be involved with Straw Dog Writers. It's a pleasure every time I get to be at Writers Night Out. There's nothing I'd rather do than hear what people want to share, hear the writing that they want to share. We have seen the birth of some amazing writing in the dingiest bars possible. But you know what? It's still been amazing writing. Any last words from Chris, Ellen, Ellie, or Patricia? Yes, Patricia.
So what does that leave for us to raise to get us over 20,000? Who can do the math? What's the number again?
$7.
$7? Rick, were you?
That's the mail.
$67.
That's what I said.
But you know, and so don't stop giving when we get to 20,000. Get us over that. That would just be terrific.
Oh, it'd be so wonderful.
Pay a salary.
And just so you all know, everybody's unmuted, and I think that the audience wants to tell you what an incredible job you did and how wonderful to be here tonight.
See your faces. Undo your video too.
Yes, please. I want to see
Yeah.
you. Rick.
Hey,
They won't let me.
Oh, Rick.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, nobody, it says my host won't let me.
Oh, look.
Love
it's
seeing everybody's face. Hi.
Let's see.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is great.
Terrific.
Vivian?
Huh? There we go.
congratulations.
Oh my
I
Well,
still can't start
Yeah.
my video.
gosh. And I do have to say that Laura Stone created all of those beautiful graphics that you've seen on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and they will stay, they're so beautiful. I just want to keep them on our webpage with the quotes and your beautiful faces. But she's not on here tonight, I don't think.
No? Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Thank you all. It was very moving.
So I think we're going to now switch over to Writer's Night Out. For Beth, come back on.
All right, everybody, please unmute yourselves. Please unhide yourselves. If you need directions at the lower bottom corner of your Zoom screen, see your video icon. Go ahead and just select it so that your red arrow is, or that red line is gone. You should be visible then. I'm going to try to, looks like everybody's unmuted at this point. That was wonderful, y'all. It was just brings back so many memories. I can't tell you how much, how moving it is to hear from you all. Thank you for what you've done for this community.
Thank you, Beth. All right, are we officially in Writer's Night Out now?
We are, and so, yes, here we all are. I'm going to stop the recording now, everybody, so that we're back to our regular Writer's Night.
All right, so welcome to